Hey guys, this is Bill Allen with Evolve Lab, and today we're going to be looking at a quick start guide for Glyph, the auto documentation tool for Revit. Before we do that, let's go ahead and jump into the why of Glyph. Okay, so why did we create Glyph? Well, we created Glyph because when I was working on projects, I was going through this extremely repetitive process of having to create my reflected ceiling plans, elevating my curtain walls, dimensioning my curtain wall mullions, cutting sections through all my stairs, tagging, dimensioning walls, doors, creating sheets, placing those views on sheets, and every time a new project would come in, I'd have to repeat the whole process over again. So we developed Glyph as a tool to automate the construction documentation process to really streamline this entire workflow. And further, we also have bundles. So today we're going to be looking at how you can go ahead and automate view creation, sheet creation, dimensioning, tagging, and dropping views on sheets with Glyph. So let's jump right into the demo. Okay, so to download Glyph, what we're going to do is go to the Evolve Lab homepage, which is www.evolvelab.io. And what we'll do is we'll go to the Apps and Glyph button. And then in here, you can either download up at the top or all the way at the bottom, we have the option to download as well using the free trial button. Okay, so now that we're inside of Revit, let's talk about Glyph and how to start it. So what we're going to do is go to the Evolve Lab tab, and if you hit the Glyph button right here, this will launch the user interface. Now there's two modes for Glyph. One is going to be just running the task and bundles using these settings and the little play button. The other option is you could run it with Copilot mode. Now we've created a separate video to show how Copilot works. Glyph Copilot is the AI functionality of Glyph, where you can actually prompt it using text and it will run different tasks as well. We're not going to talk about that today as we have the other video. So let's just talk about just the task and bundle system. So basically, when you open Glyph, you'll see this kind of user interface, and you'll see here that there's a few different modes. There is the bundle, which runs tasks sequentially. There is the tasks themselves, which is creating views. There's the automation of dimensioning, automation of tagging. We can import sheets by spreadsheet, and then there's the placing views on sheets function. So let's run a few of these tasks to kind of get a sense of how Glyph works. Okay, so if we go to the create task, so in here, I have this task that I've created. It's called Create Ceiling Plans by Level. And if I just click on this task, there'll be a series of settings inside of here. Okay, so here are our settings. So one of the things people often ask is, how does it know what view template to use or what dimension style to use? All of that is reflective in the reflected ceiling plan, no pun intended. So in here, what I can do is I can associate, the appropriate view template that I want associated to that respective view. And in here, I can also create other views as well simultaneously if I want. So I could turn on the make floor plan view in addition to the ceiling plan if I wanted. But this task, I just have it set up to create ceiling plans. And then over here, this is where we can name our task. Now, in the selection side of things, what we can do is pick which views we want to create the ceiling plans for, or what levels rather. So in here, I can say O1 first floor, O2 first floor, O3 first floor. And if I go ahead and run it, you'll see over here in the project browser, it's very quick, ran, and we have those three different views it just created. So that's pretty cool. So that's the create views by level task. Okay, let's run another task. Let's say we want to create enlarged plans. Now, I created this new task called Create Enlarged Plans from Room, and you can see it right here. There's basically three different ways I want to show you how we can select elements using Glyph. Now, the first way is you can just simply click the rooms that you want to create the enlarged plans for, and you can run it, and you can see it'll create those for us very fast. That's a really nice feature. I can go ahead and undo this really quick. The next way is going to be simply using the select elements. So I could select the rooms in my project, hit finish, run it. It'll create the enlarged plans that way. I'll go ahead and undo that. And then the last way is to do it using the filter. So we could say, I want to create an enlarged plan of all rooms with the name that contains conference. And it will filter through all the rooms that contain the name conference. And I'll run that, and you'll see that it will create those rooms for us as well. And you can see here it did it on the plan. So that is how we can run Glyph using 3 different selection methods, either checkbox, using the select button, or the filter. Okay, so let's run a few more tasks here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run the elevate views by room task. So again, if I pick on this task here, I'm going to choose what rooms I wanted to create the elevations from. And so going over here to the mouse selection, I can choose I want it 103 through 107. You'll see those are the ones I have. If I go ahead and hit the play button, it'll go ahead and create the elevations for those rooms. The other one I can do is I can create sheets as well. So maybe I want to create sheets for all these rooms. So in here I can say create sheets by room. And in here you can see all the settings that I have. I'm starting with sheet number 103 because that is the room that I want associated to there. And then I'll go ahead and hit the run button. And if I scroll down here to the bottom, you'll see that I have those sheets that were created, A103 through 107. And the name here is being depicted by the parameters that we're pulling from. And you can also create custom parameter syntax as well. So that is the create sheets by room. Okay, another really powerful task within Glyph is the dimension task. So in here, I have some other tasks that I've created, which is the dimension walls by plan view. And in here we have these different settings where you can choose if you wanted to dimension the interior wall dimensions, exterior rough openings, exterior wall length dimensions, and overall building dimensions. And you can kind of pick and choose what you would like for each of these. So those are the options for the wall dimensions. And then here I can choose whether I want it to be finished face exterior, do I want it to the core, do I want it to the wall center line, etc. So those are the settings in here. And then we have the offset. You know, what is the offset we would like the dimension to be, and do we want it tied to the nearest grid or not? So I'll go ahead and run that, and you will see that Glyph will go through and dimension our floor plan really, really quick. So that's the dimension walls by plan view task that I just ran there. Now we can also do this on elevation. So in here I have this dimension curtain walls by sheet. So one of the things to note that we need to make sure that we're making a difference from is the categories that we're picking in here. And so in here, this is the category. And here I'm saying I want walls and curtain walls. And what I can do within the settings is I can choose for the options. I'm going to choose the elevation, and you can choose mullion centerline or width. And then you can set the offset for this one as well. Do you want it to tie to the nearest grid or not? I'll go ahead and run this, and you'll see that it'll dimension those curtain walls for me. I also have a tagging task in here as well. So I could go through and tag curtain wall panels by sheet. I used to have to do this a lot when I was doing healthcare design. And so I can say tag curtain walls, and this will depict, you know, if it's spandrel or vision or glazed, etc. And in here I can choose my active sheet. There we go. And then I'll go ahead and run play. And you'll see that it's going through and tagging all of my curtain walls. Now it's worth mentioning in Revit you do have a tag all not tagged, but in here I would have to activate every view, tag all not tagged, deactivate view, activate next view, tag all not tagged, deactivate view, tag all not tagged, etc. So this helps mitigate that. I literally could have 10 elevations per sheet, 1,000 sheets, run it, it'll go through, tag and dimension all of those sheets. And we can also do this in interior design as well. So if we have, you know, some casework elevations that we want to run this on, I'll go to my dimension casework sheet. And in here, you'll see I'll hit the play button and it can dimension my casework for me as well. Okay, let's look at how to create a new task or a new bundle. So up here in the top of Glyph, there's this little plus button. We'll go ahead and hit that. And we're going to create a new task. Now this one is going to be for a curtain wall. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say create view by category. Okay, and there's other ones in here we can do as well, including dimensioning, tagging, importing, placing views on sheets, etc., etc. So for this one though, we're going to create views by category. And this one, what I want to do is it's going to be elevating curtain wall. So I'm going to call the task name elevate curtain wall. Hit create. Okay, so there is our newly created task. Now in here, this is where you get to choose what category. Now we were lucky because we were creating a curtain wall and the default already was wall/curtain wall. But if you're creating a task that wants to do either by casework or some other method, you can choose a different category. But in this one, we're going to do walls and curtain wall. And the unique element selection, what that means is if the curtain wall is unique, then elevate it. If not, then don't. Sometimes if you have the same kind of curtain wall, use it for windows, you can elevate just the unique ones or not. So that's what that option is. Under the settings over here, we're going to go ahead and configure this. So in here, it's going to ask us some of the settings that we would like. In here, I wanted to make elevations actually, so you can choose floor plan, ceiling, elevation, or 3D view. I'm going to go ahead and make an elevation. And then in here, I can choose what view template I want to use. And the rest of this should be okay. Lastly, if you did want to rename any of your tasks, this is where you do it in this third tab, and then you can give a little description for it. So you could say, you know, this creates curtain wall elevations. All right, there we go. And that is how you create a new task. All right, now that we have this elevate curtain wall task created, let's go ahead and run this task. What I'm going to do is go to the selection tab right here, and I'm going to go ahead and choose the curtain walls that I would like to elevate. So I'll pick these 3 right here. I'll hit finish, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit play. You'll see we got our 3 curtain wall elevations created just like that. Okay, so now that we have our elevations created for our curtain wall, what I want to do is I want to place those curtain wall elevations onto a sheet. So I've actually created this place curtain wall on sheet task right here. And one of the reasons that you might create different tasks for placing views on sheets is for the placement configurator. So we have these different layout templates in here, and you can choose how you want to lay out a sheet. So maybe you want to start on bottom left or bottom right. Maybe you want to set up your divisions where, you know, you might have an enlarged plan next to an elevation. Maybe you want to set it up so that all of your wall sections are right next to each other. So you could do something like this. And so this gives you the freedom to kind of configure how you want your zone set up for your sheet layout. So for this one though, I'm just going to put it in the bottom left right here, and then it's going to go ahead and arrange them in rows going left to right. The view type is all types. And so now what I need to do is I need to pick what views go on which sheets. So I'm going to go to the selector, and I'm going to choose my C-101. And for my elevations, I'm going to pick the elevation lounge for the curtain wall that I had created. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this sheet so that way you can actually see the views being placed on the sheet. So I'll go ahead and run that. And you'll see we now have those elevations placed on the sheet. Okay, so now that we have the curtain wall elevations on our sheet, let's go ahead and run the dimension curtain wall by sheet task. So I've created this dimension curtain wall by sheet task. And in here, what we can do is we can choose what curtain wall sheets we want to dimension. And so what I'm going to do for this one is I'm just going to say active sheet. So that's going to grab sheet C102 here. Another thing that we can do is we can set up our settings. A lot of people ask, well, how does it know how to dimension it? What dimension style to use, etc. So in here, there's a bunch of different options that we can pick from for our dimensions. And we can say specifically if we want to dimension the mullion's width, or do we want to dimension to the mullion center line? What dimension style do we want to pick? What is the offset for our dimensions? Do we want to tie to the grid? Do we not want to tie to the grid? Etc. And so I'm going to go ahead and run this task, and you'll see that it's going to go ahead and dimension those curtain walls for me. Another thing to note that's really nice is that because we have this offset from element, all of these dimension offsets are exactly the same. So, you know, a lot of people set up different templates that they try to, you know, set eyeball their dimension strings to. With Glyph, we can get that exactly dialed in consistently for all of our dimension strings really quick. So, and then the next thing we can do if we want, we can go ahead and tag these curtain wall panels by sheet. This is really nice. Something I like to point out with this feature is that, you know, in Revit you get a tag all not tagged, but I'd have to activate every view, tag all not tag, deactivate view, activate next view, tag all not tag. With this, what I can do is I can just say, Glyph, I want to tag this active sheet, and I'm going to go ahead and hit play, and you'll see that we'll actually get all of our curtain wall tags populating in here on our elevation, which is really, really convenient. A lot of times we do this if we have a delineation of curtain wall panel for glazing versus spandrel versus vision. And so this way we can go through and just tag all of these sheets. And so again, another comment is that we can have literally 10 elevations of curtain wall per sheet. We could have 20 sheets. You select all the sheets, hit the play button. It'll go ahead and tag all of those for you in one click, which is pretty awesome. Okay, another feature I want to show you is the collision avoidance in Glyph. So just to show you how this works, first I want to show you how the out-of-the-box tagging works in Revit. So let's say that I want to tag my doors and my walls in my project, and I hit OK on this. You'll see what we're going to get is a bunch of overlapping tags, so it becomes not as legible, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and undo that, and I'm going to run the Glyph tag doors and walls task that I've created. The big setting that I want to show you here is this annotation collision avoidance right here. So let's go ahead and turn that on, and if we run this for the tags and the walls, what I want you to notice is how much cleaner our plans are here. There we are. So that is the tag collision avoidance feature in Glyph. Alright, so with Glyph we've been automating a whole bunch of different kinds of tasks. This includes view creation, dimensioning, tagging, creating sheets, placing views on sheets, etc. Now, in and of itself, these tasks are crazy powerful, but what I want to do is show you how we can take it up another level. So, what we've introduced is the ability to daisy chain all these tasks into a macro task, or what we call a bundle. So to illustrate this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the document curtain wall bundle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the curtain walls that I want to run the bundle on. So I'll use the selection tool inside of Glyph. I'll just select these two curtain walls for now, and we'll go ahead and hit finish. And then I'm going to go ahead and run the bundle. Now what is happening when we're running this bundle? What it's doing is it's going through and it's finding the curtain walls that we've selected, it's creating the elevations for them, it's dimensioning the curtain wall mullions, it's tagging the curtain wall panels, it's creating the sheet for the curtain walls, and then it's packing those views onto the sheet with one click. All right, and it's just completed here. Let's go check out our sheet. All right, and there we are. That is a bundle and how you can create elevations, dimensioning, tagging, creating sheets, and placing views on sheets all in one click. And you can also create your own bundles, mix and match, however you want to do it, dimension multiple views, multiple sheets, daisy chain other tasks together, whatever you want to do, make it your own. I hope this has been really helpful for you and showing how the bundles work. All right, we really hope you've enjoyed this Glyph quick start guide, automating view creation, sheet creation, dimensioning, tagging, placing views on sheets, having Glyph do all that hard work for you. If you have really enjoyed this video, we'd really appreciate hitting that like and subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.